A year ago, we gathered together for the first Integrity Summit and came away, hopefully, inspired and eager to take on the common challenge we had set for ourselves, and that is to take collective action against the culture of corruption that has long beset our country, and to revolutionize the way we do business in the private and public sectors. In this second Integrity Summit, we would like to reiterate the private sector's commitment to build a culture of integrity in our beloved country.
Integrity is a foundation of so many things, particularly in moving the country forward, and also both on a personality and the strengthening of character of our people. So we have to have this counterculture now of good behavior and ethical leadership and service, so that we could have a country who believes in honesty and integrity.
Integrity is not only about being unblemished or honest or even sinless. It is also about installing the appropriate systems and structures that actually work. It is equally important to build systems and structures that enable or even force people to be good.
Integrity can be both, I suppose, a tool, at the same time an outcome, no? And that's why it's critical to have it always central to any strategy.
At the bottom line of our strategy is ensuring a level playing field, one that is stable, rules-based, and whose outcomes are predictable. But the best laid plans can be derailed when rules change and when decisions are based on whims, sometimes to serve the interests of but a few. This is what we have tried to change since we took over office. This is the rationale behind our agenda of integrity-based governance. We believe that a level playing field, in essence, a just society built upon institutions that are fortified by the people's trust, is the foundation of sustainable growth.
Running a government on the basis of good governance has become one of our early core thrusts to building up national competitiveness. Transparency leads to competitiveness because it levels the playing field.
One of the hallmark of a good anti-corruption program is if there's transparency. If all the information is out there, then people will be less prone to corruption. It is easier to lead an agency if your bosses are straight, and they are sincere, and they really want to do what is best for the country. And all they ask from me and from everyone else working in government is that we should do what they are doing. All of us has the opportunity to do something for our country by making sure that all of us also walk the straight and narrow path.
The key to the success of any good governance and anti-corruption program is the collective effort and the participation of all the stakeholders.
Filipinos do not like corruption, okay? They just don't believe anything will be done about it. So that's what we need to do. We need to instill that in our culture and in our institutions.
There's been radical progress in this fight against corruption. Executives seeing a lot of corruption in the public sector fell to 42% in 2012 from 64% in 2009.
As part of the World Bank Group, we are very encouraged by what's happening in the country, and we feel that certainly as our partners, the government is one that we can work with, and I think we have been engaging with them, and we hope to contribute in whatever way we can as a global institution of knowledge to impart, to help the Philippine government and also the other stakeholders like our private sector groups as well.
Countering corruption is a high priority for the Australian government, and we're pleased to contribute to broader anti-corruption efforts in the Philippines. We are optimistic that the recent reforms we have witnessed, such as those in the judiciary and the Ombudsman Office, improvements in revenue and customs collections and in tax administration, and more open processes in budgeting will deliver positive, long-standing results.
That's the general picture. A lot of improvement in the public sector and a lot of improvements needed in the private sector. Statistics would tell us that
more than 97% of the Philippine business are in the SME category, and most of them are situated in the countryside. The SMEs are the businesses that are most challenged to be ethical in their dealings with customers, their suppliers, and even with their own people.
We in the private sector really have to do our part. And what we really need to do is to do everything within our means to eliminate corruption within our own institutions and within our own ranks as a business community. So that is really the challenge ahead of us. But I think this is the best time for us to do this on a very serious basis.
We are in a very sweet spot right now in the Philippines. We need to seize this opportunity to help fight corruption.
Over the last months, we have gained new allies. About 1,500 companies from 700 last year, and 32 heads of government agencies have signed the Integrity Pledge. Our campaign has started to spread outside Metro Manila. In the last couple of months, a private sector-led Mindanao Integrity Council has been formed, and a similar group is now being organized in the Visayas.
It's guided by the principles of goodwill and trust. The Mindanao Business Council has adopted the United Nations Conventions Against Corruption as a manifestation of its untiring commitment to combat corruption. We call for a stronger support to cure the corrupt public systems from the past and work well within the present administration's framework of Daang Matuwid. We laud the clear-cut policy on zero bribery practice of the Tampakan Copper and Gold Project in southern Mindanao. The project is faithfully following legitimate processes until they can secure their license to operate. It has taken them several years now. They could have explored unconventional possibilities for trimming processes, but they opted to do things with integrity.
CMPCI joins the Integrity Initiative in believing that corruption is anathema to economic progress, and it is good business to work against corruption, not only because it will reap the returns of hard work and not the returns of the bribes given, but more importantly, it is the duty of every citizen to do so.
We have a lot of laudable practices in Iloilo that show the Ilonggo businessman's commitment to operate with utmost honesty and sincerity. We are all here to make our stories known and encourage each other that doing good, being honest, and creating credible brands are still considered best practices. If both public and private sectors do extraordinary means to uphold what is good and just, what is honest and credible, be it small or big, then there is hope for our country. With all of us together, we can make a huge difference.
As we take our campaign to the next level, we realize that we will need to engage and work more closely with government for help to sustain our campaign, particularly in the form of incentives for companies that will be certified to have abided by ethical business practices.
We need to develop new relations of integrity between the public and the private sectors. And that is why we admire the Integrity Initiative. It shows that the private sector is not only after the profit motive.
Your Department of Public Works and Highways is behind you in terms of this culture change. The DPWH should be doing the right projects at the right cost and the right quality, right on-time delivery, and then doing it with the right people. We are now doing our best to go through open, transparent, and competitive bidding, which has significantly resulted in savings. If you're ready, I'm ready. If they don't sign, they don't get any contracts with DPWH.
In pursuit of integrity and open government, allow us to be upfront on our proposal to require bidders for government procurement contracts to first sign integrity pacts to be eligible. We agree that we need to incentivize and even give an advantage to businesses which are committed to implement integrity and to penalize those which break ethical standards.
In PESA, absolute honesty and integrity is non-negotiable. We strongly support the Integrity Pledge advocacy. PESA signed the pledge, and we have invited our locators and developers to support it. We are very pleased with the individual companies' interest and eagerness to themselves commit to ethical business practices and good corporate governance. Clearly, this is an indication and a message that we, especially us in government, must follow suit.
To assure everyone that the judiciary is with you all the way. We are moving forward, we are moving fast, but we are moving on solid ground. This is to assure you that under my leadership, you will see 18 years of judicial stability. With this pledge, with this commitment, I see this not as any threat on our independence, not as you impinging on our functions, but rather you sharing our common concern that justice indeed be actualized in this country.
We remain very positive and very confident that under a true partnership between the private sector and the court system, we will continue to have, or we will now have, a judicial system that is grounded not on use or abuse of privilege, but on the sanctity of the rule of law and moral order. At this point in our country's history, it is no longer a choice, it is our moral duty.
While we in business commit to find ways to drive culture change in order to level the playing field, we call on all sectors of society to support us in your own effort. We must drive culture change. The presentations earlier demonstrate existing best practices in good governance. Our speakers have provided good example on how to move forward in this drive for culture change. They have proven that business with integrity is possible.
We encourage everybody to sign the pledge. It reminds us to have a uniform playing field, to have uniform business practices and apply the code of ethics.
I think it is very useful for the company because there are best practices that are being shared.
Convergys today is the largest private employer in the country, and one of the reasons why we have achieved this success and this recognition is because of our focus on integrity in business.
This has been my second keynote address in 2 years of the Integrity Summit. I hope there will be even more people who will recite the Pledge of Integrity and live up to it in their everyday actions. I hope that the principles of inclusion, collective action, and communal responsibility will continue to galvanize every sector from across the public and private spheres into building a society that will allow our nation to thrive in a just and equitable manner. And I hope that whoever stands on this podium in the future will be a person of foresight, someone who will solve problems, someone who will fortify the culture of integrity that we are building now.
I hope today's sessions will leave you inspired that the culture change we seek is possible and that the Integrity Initiative can make a difference. Through our collective action, we can defy limits, overcome greed and corruption, and bring forth a new breed of integrity champions committed to establishing a new ethical norm in our country.